Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, we are going to stay on the tier list train and talk about the new heroes or newly refined heroes from the Dusk Total meta. I felt like since I was already talking about where Katsu's at, I can talk about where these new heroes or redefined heroes are going to sit in the meta, where just my general thoughts about them, and we'll see how right or wrong I am in about 2 months. So if you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Hope you enjoy your stay. If you are a long-staying member, thank you all so much. Feel free to check out the Patreon and the Discord down below to figure out how you can support the channel better and have access to a great community with over 400 members. So doing really well so far. So we're gonna get right into it. So this is kind of where I have the initial field stacked. The field section in particular is in no particular order. Like I didn't rank these like exactly one by one, but this is kind of where I see it. I could be wrong. Obviously, you have the meta decks, which are these top three. I think people can't really disagree with that just based off results. Until something changes, these three are the meta decks. Now, Oldheim Levia might change that, of course. I'm just going off of where we're currently at so far. I do think challenging the meta will be Dory, Azalea, and Katsu. Katsu, because I think Katsu is the best aggro deck in the format right now. That's just my opinion. And then decks like Dory and Azalea will do better because of the fact that there's going to be so much aggro running around, I think. Dromai will help keep them in check, but I think they'll be in a good spot. Then you have the field in no particular order. There's not like a huge gap between these two sections. It's just kind of where I put the rest of the field. And then you have three kind of oddballs or like to be determined. Bolton, I'm not putting in the redefined text. I mean, we could put him here. I'll talk about him, but he's kind of in the to be determined. The really TBD section is Wizards. I want to see where they end up. They both have good and bad matchups. I think it depends on representation, popularity, things like that. But I don't know exactly where to put either one of them right now. I think Kano could do really well in a format that's like a lot of aggro, but will suffer if Dromai is really popular. And same thing with Icelander, sort of. So it really depends on the field if they're good or bad. But we'll talk about these four heroes. Obviously, we have LL section. First one is Prism, Advent of Thrones. So all of these will be off limited playtesting. I have played against all of these heroes except for Levia because it's not Code and Talishar yet. I've played against Prism, played against a couple of Vincetts, and played against a good amount of Boltons already because everybody's trying out Bolton. Into my Katsu deck, into my Vincett deck, into my Azalea deck, actually, and into an Arachne deck. So I've been playing pretty decent. I'd say I have like 10, 20 games total under, maybe a little bit more, under all these three combined. So when it comes to Prism, I think early on, for sure, she's going to be like bomb of the field. She seems like until someone, she's like Icelander was. Until someone figures her out, she is extremely weak, at least right now. The fact that a person can swing a Kadachi or a dagger or a sword or anything, and she has to block it out, or one of her angels can pop unless she has spectral shields or some type of other war mechanic. Like the Figments, I think people are going to get trapped into the Figments early and run like all 8, and I don't think you need to do that. I think you only have to run like 5 or 6, maybe 1 or 2 in the sideboard for like long games, but like she's going to take a while to figure out. I do think even when she gets figured out, unless there's something I am not seeing, I still think she gets blown out by aggro because she literally can't do the one thing that she used to be able to do to help at least get close to combating aggro, which was switching to full heralds and just get go again, and have insane damage to resource value. I don't think she can do that, and I do think she'll be in the mix. I think she'll be at the top of the field categories. Like, I don't know exactly where she'll be behind, but somewhere around here, right? But I do think she's going to struggle a little bit. But I think if people can figure out some build that no one's seen, she could be in the challenge meta spot. I still don't know how she beats out some decks. The good thing about playing Prism is she's, even if you don't play her the exact like best possible way, she's going to challenge some of the decks in the format anyway, especially if you do have a good amount of your auras in there still because of Spectra. But you know, it'll be interesting to see where she is. She's the biggest question mark in my opinion out of all of them. I think early on she'll definitely not be that good of a hero, and then later on you might see her creep up into the challenge in the meta spot. I don't see her design though, from my limited knowledge of Flesh and Blood, ever being a top deck. That's just my opinion, though. Could be completely wrong. But for right now, we're going to put her in the field until someone proves us different. Vincett's going to be in the field. I think there is very good builds of Vincett already I'm seeing. I think I like the way my build is. It's even refined since I put out the video 2 days ago. It's refined a couple cards. It's getting better and better. Nathan from the Car Guys, he just did a good stream where he had a really efficient build. I think people can play her very efficiently and play her very well. And I think she's similar to like a Vincett or a Rhinar or what have you, where if you just draw good cards on top of the fact of, playing the deck properly and knowing how to play in every matchup, you could get a top placing. I think she's one of those heroes where, like, normally she's going to be in the field, not going to see her in top 8, but then you're going to have 1 or 2 random people every couple big tournaments that just takes her far. I think, personally, that's where she's going to be. And I do think, regardless of exactly where she sits, she's better than what most people think. I think she naturally sits kind of in the middle of the field area, like similar to where Reinar's at. Rhinar actually might end up being up there, but regardless, she sits kind of in the middle of the field area, but I think with a good run, knowing how to play her, playing her efficiently, having the right deck build, she could boost her way up to the top of the field. Bolton's going to be challenging the meta. I think Bolton's definitely a tier 2 deck now, tier A deck, however you want to slice it. He has very good tempo. He has very good flexibility. A lot of his cards synergize very well together. I think just overall, he's going to be a good deck. He still, in my opinion, didn't go insanely more powerful because a lot of his mechanics, at least from face value, me reading it, I'm not a warrior player by any means, so please, if you're a warrior player out there, comment below. Let me know what I'm thinking wrong here. He does have some powerful cards, like Beacon is insane. The 0 cost for 3 that automatically buffs itself if you pitch to yellow. There's a couple other like Majestics he got that are really good. But a lot of his core cards, it just seems like instead of saying charge unconditionally, it's like if you pitch to yellow, it gets X. And yes, a lot of his cards are yellow, and you can easily synergize his deck that way. It just seems like it technically didn't make it more powerful. It just made you have to do a different thing, right? I don't know. It's kind of like what they did to Vincett, where they gave him like Deathly Duet, and they gave him Diabolic Ultimatum and all this stuff, and it was like, okay, you really didn't change the power level of Vincett. You just gave him a different mechanic that he has to think about playing. I don't know. I could be wrong. Regardless, even if I am wrong around that, I think he's in the A tier list. So really, I don't think you're going to see any issues with him. I think he'll be really good. Levia, she is the biggest to be determined. I don't know how good that card's going to be. It seems good, and it seems like it fixes some of her issues. I talked to Vincett the other day, and I was like, hey, man, like, I don't understand Levia like other people do. I have a decent understanding, but, like, what does this new card do that, this new Levia Redeem do that helps people, be able to play her more efficiently? And Levia's 2 biggest issues, according to him, and something that I've now can think of is like, one, Levia was prone to disruption because you can't turn off Blood Debt, and Levia is prone to whiffs, not being able to get Blood Debt, or not being able to get the banishes correctly. And this new Levia kind of fixes both of those core issues. The issue is you got to get to that point to transform her, and at that point you're pretty low in health. You can do it to where you heal a little bit and stuff like that, but it seems like a really interesting mechanic that's going to take a very high skill ceiling to play. And I think people will be excited about her initially. I think you might see her sneak in a couple, like, maybe not top cuts, but in top tables early on because people are going to want to play her. The issue is, like, will the high, because I think she's going to require a high skill player. Like, Ethan is a high skill player. Vincett's a high skill player. I could see him topping because he knows the hero front and back. Are those other high skill players that probably have the prowess to run her properly to where she can be good, are they going to actually play her? That's what I'm thinking. Like, she'll probably be more represented and be a little more fun for people, but, like, is she good enough to where the high level players who actually could take her far in a big tournament will choose to play her? That's what's remained to be seen. So she's still to be determined for me. I don't know where she sits. Obviously at a normal power level, I think she's still like middle of the field at best. I don't think she's ever going to be a top deck ever, just because her kit doesn't interact with you at all. And in this deck, you have to have on hits. You have to interact. Like, she's just punch you in the face damage to the fullest extent. Similar to Reinhar's issue right now, there's just no on hits. There's nothing that's gonna unless she hits you like a command and conquer. There's nothing she throws at you where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna keep my hand. And then if they can disrupt her, then she's in trouble, right? And it's same thing with Katsu. Even Katsu has at least minor on hits where it's like, hey, if you don't block this, instead of hitting you for 8 damage this turn, I can hit you for 22, right? At least that's a decent on hit because of how it works. But her, like, it's literally just Blood Rush, Bellow, whatever, 2-card hand this, 3-card hand this. And I think that's what's going to keep her from being in the top decks. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, the field's in no particular order, so don't worry about that. But I do think that these are like the top decks. I think Bolton squeezes in there. I think Prism's kind of like at the top of the field, middle of the field already. If she's played correctly, if she's played incorrectly, she sucks. I'm excited to see what people figure out with her. And then Levia is to be determined. I think Levia really depends on, will the high level players play her enough to break her and get her to a point where she could be like up here or like even like right here, right? I think if the high level players don't touch her, I think she's like in the back end of the field still, like not like trash tier like she was. I think she kind of does this kind of number and she like moves up into the middle of the field. And I think if some high skill level player says, I want to play Levia, then they'll take her to like here and then maybe push her into a top cut. So that's kind of where Levia is in my opinion. But let me know what you think. I think this is pretty decent. It's gonna be really fun to see how right or wrong I am. Like, if I had to rank these, right, let's do the fun thing and rank them. I do think that Bolton and Katsu, I think, are true 50-50 now. I think if Bolton hits his combo, he wins. Like, not combo, but hits consistent Luminous, he wins. If he doesn't, Katsu blows him out. I think these two are gonna like vie for top of the challenging the meta spot. For right now, I'm gonna put Katsu above because I'm biased and it's my channel. But no, I think they're like 1 and 2, like right beside each other. I think Dory's going to be up there too. I think Iron Song really does make Dory a lot better. And I think Azalea, even losing Bullseye Bracers, if she can just say, I need to dodge Jermai, she's still really good and has really good matchups into a lot of the meta. And then at the top of the field, I think Fi is going to be there. Kadachi Fi is still huge. Briar's still going to be knocking on the door. I think good Vincett players are going to have a lot better time. It depends how much aggro's in the meta. Bravo will be up there. Bravo will probably be ahead of Vis. I probably do this, like this, like this. I actually might put Reinar ahead of Vis. It depends. Vis did get a good chess piece to help block a little bit more. Prism, I'm just going to guess where Prism's going to be. I'm going to guess she's right there. Vincett, I actually put Vincett above Dash. I know it sounds horrible. Maybe I'll be wrong. Hopefully I am. I think Vincett's kind of like where Reinar is right now. Arachne and Riptide, I do think Riptide gets better. Riptide's actually a cool question mark because he can combat aggro pretty well because he can race them down while also giving them shitty on hits that like stops their turns. So he'll be kind of a cool question. He's a to be determined as well. But that's kind of like arbitrarily, randomly where I'd put this order of the field. And then the heavy to be determines are right here. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what other type of content you want to see. Like I said, my last couple of videos, I'm leaving for Europe, or I've left for Europe at this point, and I'll be back on the 12th or 14th. And I'm making videos up until then, so if you give me a suggestion, I'll do it after I get back. But yeah, I love y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a good one. Be safe, and I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk.